Russia identifies the areas where we're most prone to polarization.
Yep. That's me, testifying before a parliamentary committee on Russian interference and disinformation. You might be wondering how I got here. So let me take you behind the scenes. It all started with an email from the committee in mid-October asking me if I could appear. But I was in Washington that week, so I couldn't make it then. Luckily, this time, I could. Now, when you speak at these things, you usually want to give an opening statement. So you have to prepare that in advance so you can give it to them and they can give it to the translators who do live interpretation in people's ears. So I spent my weekend drafting, researching, and fact-checking. It was pretty easy to brainstorm what I wanted to say, but I also wanted to make sure I had receipts for everything that I ended up saying if I was asked for them. You can see them all at the bottom of my Google Doc. I also ended up on the phone with a national security expert who is also a friend, and I read her the broad strokes of what I planned to say. When she confirmed that it was all accurate, I felt ready. On the day of, I went through security, went up to the committee room, and waited outside. They had a massive coat room that was perfect for fit checks, and this is the bag that I brought, which is from a local Palestinian bookstore. The committee was running behind dealing with something in camera, which means it's closed to the public, but I was cool lingering outside. Because I had crashed at my mom's place, so I made her come with me, and she was calming me down because I was very nervous. While waiting, I looked at social media and I saw that one griftery dude was already planning to live react on a stream to my words. That was a trip. Then I got called in, took my seat, said hi to the MPs, and it was time to start. You can head to my last video to see what I actually said. It was interesting to watch the MPs and see who was like sitting scrolling on their phone and who was super engaged and listening to the opening statements, not just from me, but from everyone. The third speaker was the guy behind the Vatnik Soup series, which exposes Russian disinfo actors. But just a few minutes into his opening remarks, an alarm started going off. We all just kind of waited for it to end and people cracked some jokes that maybe it was Russia. Then we were told we actually had to evacuate. And I overheard one staffer mention that a suspicious package may have been found. So we all went outside and one dude I asked said he heard the suspicious package thing had actually already been resolved. So my mom and I went and got lunch. So that was that, or at least I thought. Because apparently seeing a young woman being unabashedly herself triggers a lot of the men on the internet. Naturally, Pale Male Toronto Sun and National Post columnists started having an absolute mentee bee that I know what I'm doing enough to speak at a committee. Sorry, not sorry. The haters actually got so out of control that one of them dressed up as me and filmed herself going, like, totally, For her sake, I really hope she got picked. Anyways, all of that was pretty much limited to the app that shall not be named, because everywhere else, people were being super nice and supportive. And the Vatnik Soup guy even told me he loved my speech, so that felt amazing. Then I got home and saw that I hit 100K followers on TikTok. So that was kind of the cherry on top of a very cool day. Overall, it was a really neat experience, and I hope my testimony helped someone who heard it. And to anyone out there who has ever been told they need to dull their sparkle to be taken seriously, don't ever let boring, constipated dudes convince you that's the case. Because they're just jealous that they're the human equivalent of plain oatmeal. And while plain oatmeal might do the job just as well as that fancy avocado toast, I think we all know which one we'd prefer to fill up on. What do you think of all this?